Subscribe, you'll like it here. Tangled, an animation about a beautiful princess born to a loving king and queen who just so happens to have magical blonde hair that not only cures and heals and reverses age but also glows in the dark when you sing a song. This picture of perfection does not last long, however, because Rapunzel is stolen by this lady, Mother Gothel, who raises her as her own child, I guess to cause less resistance so she can continue to exploit Rapunzel's hair in order to stay young forever. Mother Gothel has grown to be one of the most prominent Disney villains because number one, it has to do with a child, and two, because she was very manipulative, number three, because her lines are iconic. Whether you like her or not, you know that you will laugh.
Is a very
Rapunzel,
big
look in that mirror. You know what I see? I see a strong, confident, beautiful young lady. Oh, look, you're here too. I'm just teasing. Stop taking everything so seriously.
But so many unacknowledged details have me asking, was she really the bad guy? In the opening scene, we see a single drop of sunlight fall to the ground and become a flower. Mother Gothel found it first, and routinely every now and then she would sing to it, it would make her young, then she would cover it with a basket so no one could find it, and the cycle would continue for hundreds of years. And in the opening monologue, Flynn Rider, or Eugene Fitzherbert, who becomes Rapunzel's love interest and hero, makes it clear that this routine was creepy, which it genuinely wasn't. There is this idealistic expectation that everyone should accept growth and wrinkles and age with grace, which would be lovely if aging didn't come with real-world, mostly negative side effects. If it didn't, plastic surgery wouldn't be a multi-million-dollar industry, especially for women. The world is just not kind to aging women. On top of biological downgrades like joints getting weaker, longer recovery periods, a weaker immune system, there are also social consequences of aging. Your opinion matters less, you are more invisible, ignored. It's isolating. Not forgetting death itself is just a scary concept to grasp. But here's a woman who's finally cracked the code. She has found the cure to life's inevitable. And she knows there is only one of this flower, and she has interacted enough with the human species to know what will happen if she leaves it to the naked eye. So she hides it. For 400 years, she sustainably uses and takes care of the plant that is taking care of her. For everyone thinking, why couldn't she have shared her secret? Why didn't she have more faith in humanity? All that is answered in the next scene, when her fears are proven right. The pregnant queen falls sick, hears about the legend of the sunflower, and soldiers are sent to find it. In panic, Mother Gothel accidentally exposes the flower as she's fleeing, and they find it. And what do? They pluck it. They pluck it. For the well-being of one person. I mean, how selfish can you be? Couldn't they just have sung to it? And if resurrection can only happen with the entire flower, then the queen would have been a sacrificial lamb because the flower could have done so much more good. From my little research, Tangled took place in France 1780. It was the period of the French Revolution. People were quite unhappy and the life expectancy was late 20s or 30s. The people clearly needed it more. But there was no need for the queen to even die because we already know that the flower is capable of healing if you just sing to it. Like, couldn't they just have sung to it? I believe they crushed the entire flower and gave it to the queen as some show of loyalty. I don't know, but there were better ways. In her life, Mother Gothel, as far as we know, had never gunned for a position of power or massive wealth. All she had to show for 400 years was a medium piece of land, a tower, and a modest life. It looked like she wasn't interested in a husband or kids or family or friends or connection in general. So isn't it weird that her first recorded crime was so grand and stealing a child? Something that requires so much responsibility, especially for a woman who desires to be carefree. But we see that even through pure desperation, Mother Gothel's goal was not to steal Rapunzel. After sneaking into the palace, she started to sing the flower song, and as the hair started to glow, her hope was that she could cut a few strands and go back to her life. When she realized that this was not possible, in that moment of panic is when she decided to take the entire baby. But why that much desperation? Because it was self-defense. In the second last scene, we see that her fear is justified. Immediately Rapunzel's hair dies, so does she. She was no longer just preserving her youth, but protecting her life. At this point, it is not shocking to see that she sees Rapunzel just as the flower, and this time she hopes to keep it even safer. Still nourished, taken care of, and hidden, but this time under stricter supervision. That is the reason she calls her flower. Tangled really had no real villain. It was just a bunch of people's lives interacting at different points in their journey. And the most misunderstood of these journeys was Mother Gothel's. She just desired to live her life carefree, unbothered, but not ignored or invisible. She was the most human of the characters, and just as we demonize older generations, she just lived long enough to become a villain. But all in all, she really was not the bad guy.